Next, let's have the closing session of the Innovative City Forum. Professor Joichi Ito and Mr. FUMIO NANJO and Professor Takenaka are on the stage. Thank you for staying with us and for your active participation in this very long session. Now, in this closing session, well, we have been conducting the Innovative City Forum since yesterday, and this is going to be the wrap-up session for the past 2 days. We have very limited time, just over 20 minutes. But with the members of the program committee, we like to talk about what are the issues we need to continue to deliberate for the next meeting. So we focused on technology and art and the city. And we want you to discuss two things. This Innovative City Forum. In this 2-day session, what was the thing that you felt strongly, and what is the thing that you want to share with others? That's the first thing I want to ask. And then, what are the remaining issues for which we should deepen our discussions? So I'd like to ask those two questions. So in the first round, looking back at this forum, what gave you the strongest impression, and what is it that you would like to share with others? That's what I would like to ask the panelists here. Mr. NANJO, you seem the most eager to speak. Actually, I'm the most reluctant to speak. But what I felt was that we introduced the brainstorming session, and so I think we were able to talk in very concrete terms. And some things we thought we knew, but things where we were not able to draw a clear image on the details. Well, we were able to have experts to deepen those discussions. I joined 2 sessions, and I think so it was very effective because we were able to discuss 20 years from now, 2035, we were able to have a much clearer image of how life is going to be in the future. But listening to everything, I felt that everything is connected. Technology and the outcome of technology innovation, that is all connected to everything else. I cannot go into details here, but there's the issue of communication and the mobility, and they are systems that meet the needs of the individuals, and the same with communication. It means that you cannot hide things. Whatever you're thinking is shared by others, and so there could be reverberations or resonance. So perhaps that our thinking could become one-sided. We could have shared office, and it could lead to one big platform. That could happen. And one thing we didn't discuss, well, when we see the innovation of technology, what will happen to politics? You're experienced in that, Professor Takenaka, and I'm sure you have a lot you want to say. But when technology is applied, I think the politics will be changed drastically. That part we did not discuss. And we touched upon biotechnology, but medicine, the medical issues we did not take up. If we take up medical issues, well, it seems that our life expectancy will double, and we can now replace components, like you can replace your liver with a new liver that you created from your cells, and you will be able to repair your body and to live longer, or you can perhaps even enhance your capabilities, not just live longer. When you have that kind of a society, you have to think, is it the same human being as before? And I shouldn't speak forever by myself, so talk a little bit about metabolism architecture and what I felt about it. So the built environment, metabolism architecture is a theory put out by the disciples of Tange. And how can we reconstruct that with biotechnology? I think that's a very interesting point of discussion, and that will have a major impact on the theory of cities. For examples, the room expands when you enter and shrinks when you exit. So that could happen, or the room could respond to the person. So depending on the weather or the season, the size of the window can change. And energy and oxygen, those things can be supplied autonomously, or you can prepare and defend against threats. And there could be interactions amongst the constructed material, and there could be construction that can deal with bacteria balance, or buildings where you can have livestock. So those kinds of new architecture can be developed. How would that impact the city? Maybe we'll be going back to nature more with architecture, with new architecture. That's something that we should discuss in more detail. So thank you very much for the concrete issues that you raised.
So, Mr. Ito, thank you very much. And then you're from MIT lab, and then you are just looking at the future and for the very state-of-the-art technology and how you're going to interpret this forum. Well, first of all, under my session is a very last part, and then we have to to just embody and everything as is, such as AI and so on. So some of them are going to leave as is, and they may have the bad system. However, you're going to just leave this to the market, and then too selfish, and no result. However, and then for the politics, and in this case, maybe, and I live in the United States, as I cannot depend on to the police, and we cannot leave everything up to the politics that is equal to that police. So who's going to do this? Google's that design, and then for the Mori building is doing this, and some of the part you're going to do for a top-down basis to control. And the top-down, you can control it. And I'm going to go to the COP22 of Marrakesh, and to think about more and more, and it's all the tragic situation and the tragedy of the commons that nobody can really take any responsibility. So all the bacteria to the architecture and everything taken into the consideration. And what we are going to have some tidy up in all the things, and then our mean of the clarifying and classifying cannot to do this. For yesterday we talked about from the theory of evolution of the people, and in this case we cannot do that. For that design cannot be completed. So then for the design is going to be messed up by the politics and the market. So everybody is going to get more optimistic data that we enjoy. However, what we are going to do next? Some concrete things that we talked about. However, overall point is not very concrete. So I'm not sure that we're going to just take all the responsibility in my session, and then also to think about it and for sum it up what we are going to do for the viewpoint of the United States. And then politics should work first, otherwise the society cannot work. So right now, replacement of the democracy, and there is nothing beyond this. So how we are going to do this? And we have to step inside. So everything is connected. So now the 2020 Olympic is coming to Tokyo. Is kind of the test to the politics. Can we rally together? That is the one of the future of Tokyo. And then lastly, I'd like to mention, and if the Tokyo is going to be number one city, however, that for others going to collapse, and which is not very good. So that means the competitiveness of Tokyo, and which is fine. However, that we have to be affluent to others' place, and for immigration, environment, and and for the Middle East matters that we don't talk about it very much. So those on the other side of the world can work better, and then that Tokyo have to be number one. Okay, something common for two people, and we have to have a higher vision, an overview, and a bigger and then scope that we have to look at. So you have to take a look at the like the forest rather than one individual tree. So for expectation towards the technology is very much, however, that is going to draw the very bright near future. However, what we are doing right now is due to the advancement of technology, some are beneficiaries, and then some people cannot catch it up, and they are going to have a separation of the society, and it's going to be a populism of the danger. And for Brexit or UK is the same thing. So reality of the politics and then some of the technologies for the future, there is a big gap. How are you going to fill the gap? And for those are the ones for social issues for each country. So Professor Ichigo, what do you think? Well, so we get more and more to talk about right now. For the we talk about the politics right now, but to look back, what we look at for ICF is for fourth time this time. So we have the art and technology session each year. So technology, bio is included, and which is evolved so much. And art is very interesting. However, from city planners' point of view, how the city is going to be changed or can be changed, and that is the issues. So this is the fourth year of ICF. So how they're going to be combined here. So we look at Tokyo in 20 years later. So that's the 2035 Tokyo. So that is the first trial. There are 4 schemes. So live, work, and move, and then entertain. So this is what I didn't say, but that's a Corbusier has said for the Athens and the Charter. So just one like a century ago, and then Dr. Corbusier said. So this Corbusier for the idea of the design is to have a root and it's going to grow. So that he said already about the metabolism. So right now we talk about the technology for metabolism. We talked about. So for the future, to think about it, that is one of the starting point. So technology evolved and advanced. However, the ultimate goal is the life of the people, and then of course, and for some of the living life or the power of the vegetables and animals, including the people as well. So as a result, something very difficult to think about. You have to look back the past. So we have centered in the technology for discussing that's within like 100 years or 1 century. So just dramatical change of the technology is what important is that really like change our mindset due to the evolving technology, and that is going to make a next generation future. So technology and art and the city are going to be collaborated. What kind of the city is more attractive, and then building the city is physical, so you cannot do everything. So like a methodology this time, project mapping is something like a virtual thing is very close to real. So the people are going to pursue for the real thing. However, in a certain virtual level, which is refined, probably some people can satisfy it. Dr. NANJO mentioned, like probably the room is going to be shrunk when you are not there, and then it's going to expand when you are there. So it may happen. And then also number one, Tokyo, that Tokyo is going to be number one. Well, so we have to be more like supporting Tokyo. We are not ready to conquer the world or nothing, and we are not like unfavorably and just to win this race. Thank you very much. And then Dr. Ito from technology, and then Dr. Ishikawa from the city, and then also for the Dr. NANJO from the art. So it's very difficult to just sum it up. However, there is a last minute So do you have any additional comment? Well, Tokyo doesn't have the unique characteristics. So compared with the Kyoto or Nara, which is very different. So we don't have any of the ancient heritage. So Tokyo characteristic is creating something new. So creativity. So innovative city forum from that point of view, which is started in Tokyo, an idea comes up, and technology and art as not only art, but entertainment, for everything, the new ideas coming up. So then you're going to discuss on this matter, and for a few years later, it's going to realize we are not just looking back the history. So compared with others, and it's going to be fascinated. So I think Tokyo is the one happening something new all the time, and it's openly discussed. Probably that is most important things for Tokyo's characteristics. So that means Tokyo has characteristics, and we are going to have a communication with the people all over the world. They are going to come to share their creativity. And then it's not just the best or others. So we would like to collaborate with you to just build the future. So we are thinking about in the past that we are going to fight against for the neighboring countries. So there are quite a few good ideas coming up. So you're going to share the new idea and creative idea. And then that is going to be the most competitive city. And Dr. Ichikawa, please. Well, it's not a count opinion. So 2 days ago, I have a city rankings there. So city perception survey conducted too. So they have already, and Tokyo's characteristics, as all the image is different. Like never been here is like very congested, densely populated and dirty. And then the people who come here is a clean, polite, organized city and high tech. So Tokyo doesn't have a landmark. And Tokyo Tower and then the Sky Tree is never been known by in a global way. However, that the people who are here, that's an operation of the city that everybody is fascinated. So just we have a know-how. So just we are going to survive as a Tokyo, how we are going to operate the city, which is an operation of the city. So we need to have some mechanism in place. So we need to know what we are. And then I have a very unhappy idea, and then I agree with you, and then I would like to have a collaboration together. So this is the biggest success of two gentlemen come to the agreement. So Mr. Ito, please.
So I mentioned something negative in my previous comments. So now I would like to talk about how to change the world. I don't think the top-down method will work, because there are so many complex systems coexist that I don't think top-down method will work. What we have measured so far, like by financial yardstick or GDP, or GDP doesn't have a child rearing cost. So sorry to say in front of the economists, but GDP is not really a good yardstick. Whether we can measure it with happiness, it's rather difficult. So what we have to do, well, we are talking about the creativity, and if you try something new, and if it is fun, it's almost like a viral on the internet. As Dr. HEIZO said, that you have to do something which nobody expected. So like New York High Line gave a great inspiration to many people. So you shouldn't be just working on the numbers, statistics, but the very creative people can work on really innovative things. That's going to be fun. So in that sense, many strange or crazy or unique people are here in Tokyo, and also we have lots of resources. So even in this Innovative City Forum, we have lots of interesting people gathered together to discuss. So if we can produce one idea, then that will be proliferated, and that's going to be a new. So I talked about the politics before, but whether we come up with a new idea for Olympics or anything else, that we just have to have atmosphere and space and city so that people can be really creative. Thank you for your summary. Last year, we felt the same way. There's something interesting, something fun is going to be a key word. I was temporarily at the politics. When a politician says interesting, it is strange. So we have to find something interesting. And the beauty of the Tokyo is that you can enjoy ordinary things. And ultimately, that the charms of Tokyo will be communicated to the world, and the people will gather to Tokyo, try to live here because it's interesting. As Mr. Ichikawa said, that the city perception survey was conducted. Perception is a part of reality. So that's a very famous saying. And I think there is a problem because our perception has not been well understood by the global people. All right, then if you are interested in the perception survey, then you can come to the Mori Strategy Foundation. We must conclude this at 1 o'clock. We have another session coming up in the afternoon, and tomorrow night in the evening, art night will begin. So please come to Toranomon Hills and also interesting areas of Toranomon. I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you very much for your participation.
ありがとうございました。竹中。
Thank you very much, Professor Takenaka, and also Mr. Ichikawa, Mr. Nanjo, and Mr. Ito. Thank you very much.